हमारे टेलीग्राम चैनल से। टेलीग्राम चैनल का लिंक गाइस डिस्क्रिप्शन में और कमेंट बॉक्स में मिल जाएगा। और ये लिंक ज़्यादा देर रहने वाला है नहीं, जाकर जाकर जुड़ जाए, क्योंकि कुछ ही समय में आप सभी लोगों को पता है लाइव बंद होने वाली है। तो जाकर जुड़ सभी के सभी, जितना जल्दी जाएंगे उतना जल्दी आप सभी लोग जुड़ पाएंगे। ज़्यादा समय चलने वाला है नहीं ये लाइव, तो जुड़िए फटाफट से, लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में और कमेंट बॉक्स में। हेलो दोस्तों, स्वागत है आप सभी लोगों का मेरी लाइव में। और आप सभी लोगों को मैं बता दूं, बड़ा ही शानदार ये मुकाबला चल रहा है। और यदि अभी तक आप सभी लोग हमारे टेलीग्राम चैनल से जाकर ज्वाइन नहीं हुए तो हमारे टेलीग्राम चैनल को जाकर ज्वाइन कर लीजिए। टेलीग्राम का लिंक आप सभी लोगों को मिल जाएगा, ताकि स्ट्राइक ना आए। बहुत से बंदे कमेंट कर रहे हैं कि भाई इस मुकाबले का मैच विनर क्या है और क्यों, कौन सी टीम इस मुकाबले को जीतेगी, या लंबी गैस करें या मूव करें सेशन में। तो गाइस आप सभी लोगों को बता दूं कि इस मुकाबले की जितने भी अपडेट हैं, मैच विनर रिपोर्ट, सेशन रिपोर्ट, रिपोर्ट और टॉस रिपोर्ट, सारी की सारी आप सभी लोगों को मैं टेलीग्राम चैनल पर प्रोवाइड करवा दूंगा। तो जाइए फटाफट से हमारे टेलीग्राम चैनल को ज्वाइन कर लीजिए, लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में और कमेंट बॉक्स में आप सभी लोगों को मिल जाएगा। और साथ ही साथ में आप लोगों को बता दूं, मैं हर मैच की प्लेयर और टॉप प्लेयर आप सभी लोगों को बता देता हूँ, ताकि आप सभी लोगों को फैंटेसी रिलेटेड भी हेल्प हो जाए और विकेट नोट भी आप सभी लोग उनसे खेल सके। इस मुकाबले के जो अभी दो खिलाड़ी खेल रहे हैं उनके बारे में भी मैंने अभी बता दिया, उनकी विकेट नोट भी आप लोगों को मैंने टेलीग्राम चैनल पर प्रोवाइड करवा दिया। तो जाकर देखिए फटाफट से, टेलीग्राम चैनल का लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन और कमेंट बॉक्स में मिल जाएगा। और जितने भी बंदे यहाँ पर लॉस में क्रिकेट में और हार हार कर परेशान है, अपना सारा लॉस कवर करना चाहते हैं, तो जो आप सभी लोग हमारे साथ जुड़ के आप हमारे साथ जुड़कर सारा लॉस कवर कर सकते हैं, वो भी बिल्कुल फ्री। आप सभी लोगों को किसी को भी कुछ भी पैसे देने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। जी हाँ गाइस, और साथ के साथ में आप लोगों को बता दूं, ये मुकाबला जो खेला जा रहा है वो शानदार मुकाबला हो चुका है। अभी फिलहाल इस मुकाबले में अच्छा खासा प्रॉफिट हमें देखने को मिलेगा। और मैं आप सभी लोगों को इस मुकाबले की एंट्रीज भी प्रोवाइड करवाने जा रहा हूँ। तो इस मुकाबले की जो एंट्री होगी आप सभी लोग देख सकते हैं, ठीक है, टेलीग्राम चैनल पर प्रोवाइड करवा दिए। भाई कौन सी टीम विन करेगी? अरे भाई इस मुकाबले का विनर यार अभी मैंने पोस्ट किया टेलीग्राम चैनल पर, तो आप सभी लोग जाकर टेलीग्राम चैनल पर इस मुकाबले का विनर देख सकते हैं। अच्छा मैच हो सकता है। और कुछ दिनों से जितने भी जैकपॉट उड़े हैं, जितने भी घोड़े उड़े हैं, वो सब के सब हमने कैश किए हैं। आप सभी लोग ये भी देख सकते हैं। और एक चीज ठीक है, आप सभी लोगों का लॉस कवर ना हो तो आप सभी लोग चैनल को लेफ्ट मार सकते हैं तुरंत। तो बिंदास हमारे चैनल से जुड़िए और अपना सारा लॉस कवर कर लीजिए। साथ के साथ में आप लोगों को बता दूं, हर मैच की एडवांस प्रेडिक्शन वीडियो भी आप लोगों को प्रोवाइड करवा दी जाती है, प्री मैच एनालिसिस, जिससे आप सभी लोग खुद ही अपने एनालिसिस के हिसाब से प्रॉफिट कर सकते हैं, बिना किसी टिप्पर के भरोसे रहे, ठीक है, बिना किसी को पैसे दिए। और साथ के साथ में जितने भी बड़े बड़े टिप्पर हैं, विक्रम सिंह वाली, साहिल खन्ना, दर्पण दादा, दर्पण करना, जो आप सभी लोगों से पर मैच के 20-25 हज़ार रुपये चार्ज करते हैं, उनकी सभी की पेड रिपोर्ट बिल्कुल फ्री अवेलेबल करवा देता हूँ मैं। तो आप सभी लोगों को किसी को भी कुछ भी पैसे देने की जरूरत नहीं है, जब तक आप सभी लोग हमारे चैनल से जुड़े हुए हैं। हर मैच की मैच विनर रिपोर्ट, सेशन रिपोर्ट, टॉस रिपोर्ट बिल्कुल फ्री अवेलेबल करवा दी जाती है। आप लोगों को किसी को भी कुछ भी पैसे देने की जरूरत नहीं है। तो जाकर जुड़ जाइए सभी के सभी हमारे टेलीग्राम चैनल से। टेलीग्राम चैनल का लिंक गाइस डिस्क्रिप्शन में और कमेंट बॉक्स में मिल जाएगा। और ये लिंक ज़्यादा देर रहने वाला है नहीं, जाकर जाकर जुड़ जाइए, क्योंकि कुछ ही समय में आप सभी लोगों को पता है लाइव बंद होने वाली है। तो जाकर जुड़ जाइए सभी के सभी, जितना जल्दी जाएंगे उतना जल्दी आप सभी लोग जुड़ पाएंगे। ज़्यादा समय चलने वाला है नहीं ये लाइव, तो जुड़िए फटाफट से, लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में और कमेंट बॉक्स में। हेलो दोस्तों, स्वागत है आप सभी लोगों का मेरी लाइव में। और आप सभी लोगों को मैं बता दूं, बड़ा ही शानदार ये मुकाबला चल रहा है। और यदि अभी तक आप सभी लोग हमारे टेलीग्राम चैनल से जाकर ज्वाइन नहीं हुए तो फटाफट से हमारे टेलीग्राम चैनल को जाकर ज्वाइन कर लीजिए। टेलीग्राम चैनल का लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में और कमेंट बॉक्स में आप सभी लोगों को मिल जाएगा। अभी यहाँ पर बहुत से बंदे कमेंट कर रहे हैं कि भाई इस मुकाबले का मैच विनर क्या है और क्यों, कौन सी टीम इस मुकाबले को जीतेगी, या लंबी गैस करें या मूव करें सेशन में। तो गाइस आप सभी लोगों को बता दूं, इस मुकाबले की जितने भी अपडेट हैं, मैच विनर रिपोर्ट, सेशन रिपोर्ट, पिच रिपोर्ट और टॉस रिपोर्ट, सारी की सारी आप सभी लोगों को मैं टेलीग्राम चैनल पर प्रोवाइड करवा दूंगा। तो जाइए फटाफट से हमारे टेलीग्राम चैनल को ज्वाइन कर लीजिए, लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में और कमेंट बॉक्स में आप सभी लोगों को मिल जाएगा। और साथ के साथ में आप लोगों को बता दूं, मैं हर मैच की प्लेयर और टॉप प्लेयर आप सभी लोगों को बता देता हूँ, ताकि आप सभी लोगों को फैंटेसी रिलेटेड भी हेल्प हो जाए और विकेट नोट भी आप सभी लोग उनसे खेल सके। और इस मुकाबले के जो अभी 2 खिलाड़ी खेल रहे हैं उनके बारे में भी मैंने अभी बता दिया, उनकी विकेट नोट भी आप लोगों को मैंने टेलीग्राम चैनल पर प्रोवाइड करवा दिया। तो जाकर देखिए फटाफट से, टेलीग्राम चैनल का लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन और कमेंट बॉक्स में मिल जाएगा। और जितने भी बंदे यहाँ पर लॉस में क्रिकेट में और हार कर परेशान है, अपना सारा लॉस कवर करना चाहते हैं, तो जो आप सभी लोग हमारे साथ जुड़ के हमारे साथ जुड़कर सारा लॉस कवर कर सकते हैं, वो भी बिल्कुल फ्री। आप सभी लोगों को किसी को भी कुछ भी पैसे देने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। जी हाँ गाइस, और साथ ही साथ में आप ये मुकाबला जो खेला जा रहा है वो टफ मुकाबला हो चुका है। अभी फिलहाल इस मुकाबले में अच्छा खासा प्रॉफिट हमें देखने को मिलेगा। और मैं आप सभी लोगों को इस मुकाबले की एंट्रीज भी प्रोवाइड करवाने जा रहा हूँ। तो इस मुकाबले की जो एंट्री होगी आप सभी लोग देख सकते हैं, क्या है टेलीग्राम चैनल पर प्रोवाइड करवा दिए। भाई कौन सी टीम विन करेगी? अरे भाई इस मुकाबले का विनर यार अभी अभी मैंने पोस्ट किया टेलीग्राम चैनल पर, तो आप सभी लोग जाकर टेलीग्राम चैनल पर इस मुकाबले का विनर देख सकते हैं। अच्छा मैच हो सकता है। और कुछ दिनों से जितने भी जैकपॉट उड़े हैं, जितने भी घोड़े उड़े हैं, वो सब के सब हमने कैश किए हैं। आप सभी लोग ये भी देख सकते हैं। और एक चीज़ और बता दूँ, यदि आप लोगों को चैनल सही ना लगे और ठीक है आप सभी लोगों का लॉस कवर ना हो, तो आप सभी लोग चैनल को लेफ्ट मार सकते हैं तुरंत। तो बिंदास हमारे चैनल से जुड़िए और अपना सारा लॉस कवर कर लीजिए। साथ के साथ मैं आप लोगों को बता दूं, हर मैच की एडवांस प्रेडिक्शन वीडियो भी आप लोगों को प्रोवाइड करवा दी जाती है, प्री मैच एनालिसिस, जिससे आप सभी लोग खुद ही अपने एनालिसिस के हिसाब से प्रॉफिट कर सकते हैं बिना किसी टिपर के भरोसे रहे, ठीक है, बिना किसी को पैसे दिए। और साथ के साथ में जितने भी बड़े बड़े टिपर हैं, विक्रम सिंह गांधी, साहिल कला, डबन दादा, डबन टक्का, जो आप सभी लोगों से पर मैच के 30-30 चार्ज करते हैं, उनकी सभी की ट्रेड रिपोर्ट बिल्कुल फ्री अवेलेबल करवा देता हूँ मैं। तो आप सभी लोगों को किसी को भी कुछ भी पैसे देने की ज़रूरत नहीं है जब तक आप सभी लोग हमारे चैनल से जुड़े हुए हैं। आज की मैच में रिपोर्ट, सेशन रिपोर्ट, टॉस रिपोर्ट बिल्कुल फ्री अवेलेबल करवा दी जाती है। आप लोगों को किसी को भी कुछ भी पैसे देने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। तो जाकर जुड़ जाइए सभी के सभी हमारे टेलीग्राम चैनल से। टेलीग्राम चैनल का लिंक गाइस डिस्क्रिप्शन में और कमेंट बॉक्स में मिल जाएगा। और ये लिंक ज़्यादा देर रहने वाला है नहीं, जाकर जुड़ जाइए, क्योंकि कुछ ही समय में आप सभी लोगों को पता है लाइव बंद होने वाली है। तो जाकर जुड़ जाइए सभी के सभी। जितना जल्दी जाएंगे उतना जल्दी आप सभी लोग जुड़ पाएंगे। ज़्यादा समय चलने वाला है नहीं ये लाइव। तो जुड़िए फटाफट से, लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में और कमेंट बॉक्स में है। हेलो दोस्तों, स्वागत है आप सभी लोगों का मेरी लाइव में। और आप सभी लोगों को मैं बता दूं, बड़ा ही शानदार ये मुकाबला चल रहा है। और यदि अभी तक आप सभी लोग हमारे टेलीग्राम चैनल से जाकर ज्वाइन नहीं हुए तो फटाफट से हमारे टेलीग्राम चैनल को जाकर ज्वाइन कर लीजिए। टेलीग्राम चैनल का लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में और कमेंट बॉक्स में आप सभी लोगों को मिल जाएगा। अभी यहाँ पर बहुत से बंदे कमेंट कर रहे हैं कि भाई इस मुकाबले का मैच विनर क्या है और क्यों, कौन सी टीम इस मुकाबले को जीतेगी, या लंबी गैस करें या नोट करें सेशन में। तो गाइस आप सभी लोगों को बता दूं, इस मुकाबले की जितने भी अपडेट हैं, मैच विनर रिपोर्ट, सेशन रिपोर्ट, पिच रिपोर्ट और टॉस रिपोर्ट, सारी की सारी आप सभी लोगों को मैं टेलीग्राम चैनल पर प्रोवाइड करवा दूंगा। तो जाइए फटाफट से हमारे टेलीग्राम चैनल को ज्वाइन कर लीजिए। लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में और कमेंट बॉक्स में आप सभी लोगों को मिल जाएगा। और साथ ही साथ में आप लोगों को बता दूं, मैं हर मैच की प्लेयर और टॉप प्लेयर आप सभी लोगों को बता देता हूँ, ताकि आप सभी लोगों को फैंटेसी रिलेटेड भी हेल्प हो जाए और विकेट नोट भी आप सभी लोग उनसे खेल सके। और इस मुकाबले के जो अभी 2 खिलाड़ी खेल रहे हैं उनके बारे में भी मैंने अभी बता दिया, उनकी विकेट नोट भी आप लोगों को मैंने टेलीग्राम चैनल पर प्रोवाइड करवा दिया। तो जाकर देखिए फटाफट से, टेलीग्राम चैनल का लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन और कमेंट बॉक्स में मिल जाएगा। और जितने भी बंदे यहाँ पर लॉस में क्रिकेट में और हार कर परेशान है, अपना सारा लॉस कवर करना चाहते हैं, तो जो आप सभी लोग हमारे साथ जुड़ के हमारे साथ जुड़कर सारा लॉस कवर कर सकते हैं, वो भी बिल्कुल फ्री। आप सभी लोगों को किसी को भी कुछ भी पैसे देने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। जी हाँ गाइस, और साथ ही साथ में आप लोगों को बता दूं, ये मुकाबला जो खेला जा रहा है वो शानदार मुकाबला हो चुका है। अभी फिलहाल इस मुकाबले में अच्छा खासा प्रॉफिट हमें देखने को मिलेगा। और मैं आप सभी लोगों को इस मुकाबले की एंट्रीज भी प्रोवाइड करवाने जा रहा हूँ। तो इस मुकाबले की जो एंट्री होगी आप सभी लोग देख सकते हैं, ठीक है, टेलीग्राम चैनल पर प्रोवाइड करवा दिए। भाई कौन सी टीम विन करेगी? अरे भाई इस मुकाबले का विनर यार अभी अभी मैंने पोस्ट किया टेलीग्राम चैनल पर, तो आप सभी लोग जाकर टेलीग्राम चैनल पर इस मुकाबले का विनर देख सकते हैं। अच्छा मैच हो सकता है। और कुछ दिनों से जितने भी जैकपॉट उड़े हैं, जितने भी घोड़े उड़े हैं, वो सब के सब हमने कैश किए हैं। आप सभी लोग ये भी देख सकते हैं। और एक चीज़ और बता दूँ, यदि आप लोगों को चैनल सही ना लगे और ठीक है आप सभी लोगों का लॉस कवर ना हो, तो आप सभी लोग चैनल को लेफ्ट मार सकते हैं तुरंत। तो फिर बिंदास हमारे चैनल से जुड़िए और अपना सारा लॉस कवर कर लीजिए। साथ के साथ मैं आप लोगों को बता दूं, हर मैच की एडवांस प्रेडिक्शन वीडियो भी आप लोगों को प्रोवाइड करवा दी जाती है, प्री मैच एनालिसिस, जिससे आप सभी लोग खुद ही अपने एनालिसिस के हिसाब से प्रॉफिट कर सकते हैं बिना किसी टिपर के भरोसे रहे, ठीक है, बिना किसी को पैसे दिए। और साथ के साथ में जितने भी बड़े बड़े टिपर हैं, विक्रम सिंह गांधी, साहिल खाना, डबल दादा, डबल करना, जो आप सभी लोगों से पर मैच के 20-25 हज़ार रुपये चार्ज करते हैं, उनकी सभी की क्रेडिट रिपोर्ट बिल्कुल फ्री अवेलेबल करवा देता हूँ मैं। तो आप सभी लोगों को किसी को भी कुछ भी पैसे देने की जरूरत नहीं है, जब तक आप सभी लोग हमारे चैनल से जुड़े हुए हैं। हर मैच की मैच विनर रिपोर्ट, सेशन रिपोर्ट, कोर्स रिपोर्ट बिल्कुल फ्री अवेलेबल करवा दी जाती है। आप लोगों को किसी को भी कुछ भी पैसे देने की जरूरत नहीं है, तो जाकर जुड़ जाइए सभी के सभी हमारे टेलीग्राम चैनल से। टेलीग्राम चैनल का लिंक गाइस डिस्क्रिप्शन में और कमेंट बॉक्स में मिल जाएगा। और ये लिंक ज़्यादा देर रहने वाला है नहीं, जाकर जुड़ जाइए, क्योंकि कुछ ही समय में आप सभी लोगों को पता है लाइव बंद होने वाली है। तो जाकर जुड़ जाइए सभी के सभी, जितना जल्दी जाएंगे उतना जल्दी आप सभी लोग जुड़ पाएंगे। ज़्यादा समय चलने वाला है नहीं ये लाइव, तो जुड़िए फटाफट से, लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में और कमेंट बॉक्स में है। हेलो दोस्तों, स्वागत है आप सभी लोगों का मेरी लाइव में। और आपका भी बता दूं, बड़ा ही शानदार ये मुकाबला चल रहा है। और यदि अभी तक आप सभी लोग हमारे टेलीग्राम चैनल से जाकर ज्वाइन नहीं हुए, तो फटाफट से हमारे टेलीग्राम चैनल को जाकर ज्वाइन कर लीजिए। टेलीग्राम चैनल का लिंक है डिस्क्रिप्शन में और कमेंट बॉक्स में आप सभी लोगों को मिल जाएगा। अभी यहाँ पर बहुत से बंदे कमेंट कर रहे हैं कि भाई इस मुकाबले का मैच विनर क्या है, और क्यों, कौन सी टीम इस मुकाबले को जीतेगी, या लंबी गैस करें या नोट करें सेशन में। तो गाइस आप सभी लोगों को बता दूं, इस मुकाबले की जितने भी अपडेट हैं, मैच विनर रिपोर्ट, सेशन रिपोर्ट, पिच रिपोर्ट और टॉस रिपोर्ट, सारी की सारी आप सभी लोगों को मैं टेलीग्राम चैनल पर प्रोवाइड करवा दूंगा। तो जाइए फटाफट से हमारे टेलीग्राम चैनल को ज्वाइन कर लीजिए। लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में और कमेंट बॉक्स में आप सभी लोगों को मिल जाएगा। और साथ ही साथ में आप लोगों को बता दूं, मैं हर मैच की प्लेयर और टॉप प्लेयर आप सभी लोगों को बता देता हूँ, ताकि आप सभी लोगों को रिलेटेड मेरी हेल्प हो जाए। और क्रिकेट मोड भी आप सभी लोग उसको खेल सकें। और इस मुकाबले में जो अभी दोस्त खेल रहे हैं, उसके बारे में भी मैं आपको बता दूँ कि क्रिकेट मोड भी आप लोगों को मैंने टेलीग्राम चैनल पर प्रोवाइड करवा दी। जाकर देखिए फटाफट से टेलीग्राम चैनल और जितने भी बंदे यहाँ पर लोग हैं क्रिकेट में, और हर हाल में परेशान है अपना सारा लोग करना चाहते हैं, तो आप सभी लोग हमारे साथ जुड़ गए, हमारे साथ जुड़कर हमारा लोग करना चाहते हैं। और आप सभी लोगों को किसी को भी कुछ भी पैसे देने की जरूरत नहीं है, क्या करें। और साथ ही साथ में आप लोगों को बता दूँ, ये मुकाबला जो खेला जा रहा है वो सस्ता मुकाबला हो चुका है। अभी फिलहाल इस मुकाबले में अच्छा खासा व्यक्तिगत हमें देखने को मिलेगा। और मैं आप सभी लोगों को इस मुकाबले की एंट्री फीस प्रोवाइड करवाने जा रहा हूँ। तो इस मुकाबले की जो एंट्री होगी आप सभी लोग देख सकते हैं, ठीक है, टेलीग्राम चैनल पर प्रोवाइड करवा दी है भाई। कौन सी बिल्कुल करिए, अरे भाई इस मुकाबले का विनर यार अगले दिन मैंने भेज दिया टेलीग्राम चैनल पर। तो आप सभी लोग जाकर टेलीग्राम चैनल पर इस मुकाबले का विनर देख सकते हैं। अच्छा बड़ा हो सकता है कि इसमें से जितने भी लैपटॉप जुड़े हैं, जितने भी जुड़े हुए हैं, और सब के सब अपनी मैच की है, आप सभी लोग जुड़े हैं। और इस बोल वाली यदि आप लोगों को चैनल सही ना लगे और यदि आप सभी लोगों में लोग शॉर्ट है, तो आप सभी लोगों को चैनल को लेफ्ट मार सकते हैं। वीडियो बिंदास हमारे चैनल से जुड़े हैं और अपना सारे लोग कर सकते हैं। साथ ही साथ में आप लोगों को बता दूँ, हर मैच की एडवांस प्रेडिक्शन वीडियो भी आप लोगों को प्रोवाइड करवा दी जाती है, प्री मैच एनालिसिस, जिससे आप सभी लोग खुद ही अपने एनालिसिस के हिसाब से प्रॉफिट करके बिना किसी टिप्पर के भरोसे रहे, ठीक है, बिना किसी को पैसे दिए। और साथ के साथ में जितने भी बड़े बड़े टिप्पर हैं, विक्रम सिंह गांधी, साहिल खाना, डबल दादा, डबल करना, जो आप सभी लोगों को पर मैच के 20-25 हज़ार रुपये चार्ज करते हैं, उनके सभी की क्रेडिट रिपोर्ट बिल्कुल फ्री अवेलेबल करवा देता हूँ मैं। तो आप सभी लोगों को किसी को भी कुछ भी पैसे देने की जरूरत नहीं है, जब तक आप सभी लोग हमारे चैनल से जुड़े हैं। हर मैच की मैच विनर रिपोर्ट, सेशन रिपोर्ट, कोर्स रिपोर्ट बिल्कुल फ्री अवेलेबल करवा दी जाती है। आप लोगों को किसी को भी कुछ भी पैसे देने की जरूरत नहीं है, तो जाकर जुड़ जाइए सभी के सभी हमारे टेलीग्राम चैनल से। टेलीग्राम चैनल का लिंक गाइस डिस्क्रिप्शन में और कमेंट बॉक्स में मिल जाएगा। और ये लिंक ज़्यादा देर रहने वाला है नहीं, जाकर जाकर जुड़ जाइए, क्योंकि कुछ ही समय में आप सभी लोगों को पता है लाइव बंद होने वाली है। तो जाकर जुड़ जाइए सभी के करेंगे और जब आप सभी लोगों को दोस्त करना हो तो आप सभी लोगों को चैनल को बिंदास हमारे चैनल से जुड़े हैं और अपना सारा लोग फॉलो करेंगे। साथ ही साथ आप लोगों को बता दूँ हर मैच की हर बात के वीडियो भी आप लोगों को मोबाइल में लाइव करके फिर ऐसा मिलते हैं कि आप सभी लोग अपने आने वाली चीज़ के हिसाब से कोशिश कर सकते हैं बिना किसी किस्म के बिना किसी को कर और साथ ही साथ जितने बड़े बड़े बिल्डर
you need that support off field, and I think Nepal are actually a great example of that. Like if you look at after that inaugural World Cup appearance in 2014 in Bangladesh, where they were so good, they had significant off-field issues, governance issues, and you might say, well, hold on, why does what the board are up to affect what's going on the pitch? The correlation is absolutely intrinsic. More linked as Anchopin gets out of his third over at 63 for none at the power play end. We're into the second power play now. Belongs to Nepal. A great start from their two openers. They then kind of, in essence, had all sorts of governance issues off the field. They were suspended by the ICC, and what ended up happening then was a real fallow period. There was the tragedy of the earthquake, absolutely, in 2015, which hugely affected the players' preparation for the qualifier in 2015. But they just weren't able to then get their best team on the pitch, get them prepared in the correct way. And if you compare that to now, with a very settled board in place in Nepal, the new secretary, Paris Khadka, the former national team captain, seems to have done an incredible job in particular from the cricketing perspective in terms of getting the men's and women's team and youth teams much better preparation, more professional contracts in place, more significant infrastructure and time in preparation camps in India, in Sri Lanka, down in Africa. And that's the importance of that role. If you prepare the players properly off the field and they feel supported and well led, you'll tend to see the reward, the results. Maybe not immediately, not overnight. As Harmeet Singh comes into the attack, his 10 overs are going to be vital for USA to find their way back into this game. Run through the results. A 4-0 series clean sweep against Canada. A 2-1 first ever series win over a full member in Bangladesh. They beat them here in Texas. That was down in Prairie View near Houston. A Super 8 run at the World Cup for the first time ever. That will have come as a huge surprise to those who don't follow associate cricket. Not those that love the associate game like you and I do, They then followed it up with disappointing collapses in the ODIs. They should have won those games against the Dutch, but they generally had a very good tour in the Netherlands, exceptional down in Namibia, winning 7 from 8. Then we don't know what's happened. We're not going to get into the detail of what's happened. Something's happened off the field. The head coach has gone inside less than a month since the Namibia tour, less than 3 weeks, less than 2 weeks. That tour finished on the 5th of October, something like that. So less than 3 weeks later, Stuart Law has been unceremoniously removed from his post. So you have to align the correlation. 4 defeats in 4 games, and unless something changes today, Aman, it's going to be 5-5.
And again, the real difference is when you talk about those losses, they're almost always followed by a win. They were able to rebound and correct the mistakes that they made in that Netherlands tour and the Namibia tour, versus in this series and the T20 that preceded it, they haven't been able to correct anything. It's just been almost one batting collapse, then the next loss, and the next loss after that. They've just kind of gone down that slope. And again, like you said, there has to be some kind of correlation between something, a riff in some facet, whether that's between coaches and players, or just players and themselves. There's something that's going on, because this was a team that was able to rebound, that wasn't flustered, to a team that doesn't seem to have any real fight left after things go wrong, as the 11th over closes 65 without loss.
Well, it doesn't take the genius, we're not claiming that either of us are here in the commentary box, to link the two. This is again, you talk about attitude and character. This is where your character is tested now. The going is tough for USA right now. Who's going to stand up? Who in this 11? Who in and around the group? There's a new head coach. I think it's just for this tour only. He has been around the group. Has some experience in Indian first-class cricket. Vinay Kumar. Sheikh just loses his shape, doesn't need to overhit. also seen Usman Rafiq, who was playing as recently as last year. I think he's come into the coaching setup. We've seen him in the dugout. I'm not sure what role he's performing. Maybe again just interim for that. But there's been significant turnover, isn't there? There's no Kirk Higgins as team manager anymore. Who is somebody that was hugely respected all the way across America. Lovely on drive. That's going to be 4. And give up the chase there. Jesse Singh. The on drive is the hardest shot to play in the game, pretty much. And Asif Sheikh has just played it, well, almost to perfection again.
Yeah, aerial just a touch, but he's placed it so very well. You mentioned why is it so hard? Well, you got to keep your balance. Your head has to be straight on the ball. The bat's got to come down at the exact right angle. Otherwise, your stumps are gone. And he's covered the line of the ball. He's just pushed it. Again, he's not looking to throw his hands at it. You can just see a push right there. Yes, aerial, but very, very straight. Jesse Singh was never going to get a chance to get over there. Yeah, you mentioned Vincent Vinay Kumar. He's had experience in Ranji cricket out in India with Andhra. He was one of the assistant coaches all the way through and is now, like you said, the interim, according to Monik Patel, as the head coach.
Better piece of fielding, swift piece of work from Andrew's house at mid-wicket. There's also the Kevin Darlington factor. I don't think that can be overlooked. Again, somebody just like Kirk Higgins, who was much loved in the American cricket community as being a great servant as a player, and then initially as a youth coach, then as the senior bowling coach for the national team. It's a good stop at backward point. That's much more like it. Nash Kenjige is a fine fielder. He does well. He was also interim head coach after Jagadish Charan Kumar left. And then he certainly was with the team at the T20 World Cup, but I don't think we've seen him since. And again, there hasn't been any announcement as to how long or as to why that is, as we get one more look. Direct hit might have been interesting if Patel wasn't in the way of the stumps. So it's just that pure, forget about the personnel, it's just the pure turnover that can't give stability. And all of these things are certainly, we're putting 2 and 2 together and affecting America's performances. There also needs to be a focus on how well Nepal are playing. And these 2 openers have been, well, looking glorious to say the least.
Yeah, very similar to the Scottish openers just 2 days ago, playing within themselves, not looking to be really expansive or force shots into certain directions. They've just played the ball to the merit and punished the bad ones and taken advantage of maybe some lackluster fielding as it's starting to pick up. But and talk about Andy Umeed, what he did, you're seeing shades of it now.
Down the ground. Now there is a man out there, but it's going to go high and up to his left. It's the first maximum of the day. And it goes to Asif Sheikh. Van Schalkvik is being treated with real disdain. He's gone for 30 from his 4. Nepal, what a start. 75 for none.
Well, we talked about Andy Umeed. He played a shot similar 2 days ago. Straight down the ground. And again, he hasn't looked to overhit it, Sheikh. He's just used the pace. He's gone to the pitch of the ball, covered the line, and then punched it down the ground. And that's a real difference and a real understanding of the kind of game you're playing. And it understands when you're in flow as well. You're not seeming to reach. You're not looking to force the power. He's just used all the timing in the world. And Harmeet Singh has got to deliver something now. Wicket has to fall. It's already 75 runs on the board here in over number 12. Compare that to the chase yesterday, 2 days ago from Scotland. We're in that 12th over. They had themselves 71 runs, so very similar. The USA are going to want to right those wrongs. For me, I would look at a Sanjay Krishnamurthy who's back in the team after a long time away. He's in red hot form with the bat, who's very good with the ball in minor league cricket. Right now it feels like the USA team need a shakeup. They need someone new. He's there fielding at sweep recover. Monik Patel, I'd just be intrigued to look at him. Nash Kenjige has given good efforts in the field, but I just want someone who hasn't been around the camp for a while. Someone fresh. be able to break this partnership and build some momentum. I've already heard Lenny talk about how Harmeet Singh's 10 overs are vital. It's because of how good he is with the ball and how highly regarded he is, at least domestically. And since coming to international cricket, has been a real star. Work by Patel, but that will be a wide. The ODI format, economy of 3.79 and an average of 39, so he's always in and around the wickets. Again, for me, I think Sanjay Krishnamurthy is someone I would turn to very soon if nothing happens. Just some fresh legs, a fresh mind to come in and try to do something, change it up.
This one's cut away, going to be more runs. It'll be Krishnamurthy himself who'll have to try and cut it off. Again, the fresh legs do better than those who've been battered and bruised around him. Look at the body language again from USA. Some double teapots coming out. Is that one of the reasons Krishnamurthy's been brought in? We saw, I think there was an announcement on social media from USA Cricket that it was a replacement of Smith Patel due to an injury. But that injury, we believe, is the same one that he came into the squad with. It wasn't like something happened in a warm-up or during the net session. It was the one that ruled him out at the latter stage of the Namibia tour, if I'm correct. So is that one of the reasons they brought Krishnamurthy in, not just for his batting, but possibly for his bowling too?
You'd have to imagine, again, he's bowled really well domestically. He was one of the higher wicket takers of the season. So he gives you that option. For me, the reason I keep bringing his name up is just because of the fact that he hasn't been around the camp. He hasn't been part of this 4-game slump that they're in. He's his 13th over go. It's 83 without loss. It just feels like he would give you an option that hasn't. You're almost naive because he hasn't been playing international cricket for a while. And you have to break this partnership somehow. Worth 83 runs from just 78 deliveries. And Asif Sheikh has really gotten it going, 45 off 43 with some glorious strokes. Searching for answers. It feels like the answer, you've tried every option. Why not go to someone new?
So I suppose the problem is that, with the exception of Netravalkar, the kind of the fast bowling options are military medium, aren't they? I don't know why Jesse Singh is down on pace on this tour, but he looks significantly down on pace. You compare him to Major League Cricket bowling here for the Washington Freedom. He came in to replace Netravalkar. He's not in the team for an express pace bowling option. He's in there to bat well down the order to give some control with the ball. But you look at the options on the sidelines. You know, he Drysdale again. He's not express pace, but he at least offers a bit of bounce. We might see Milind Kumar bowl a bit today, will we? I'm just trying to see where these 50 overs are going to come from. Obviously, Nosh Kenjigate yet to bowl either.
Janoy is an interesting example because, again, he's just different. He's a different flavor of bowler from Netravalkar, even from Jesse Singh. Higher arm action and almost nips away off the surface, bowls back of a length, and you just think you want to implore new options, especially when things aren't going your way. There's no reason to rock up with the same 11 and just think something's going to magically shift. You feel like you have to create something, and the board has felt it's the head coach that's had to change, and right now it feels like maybe there needs to be a new combination down the middle.
And there's cause for real celebration for Nepal, not just because of this opening partnership, but always keep abreast of everything back in Nepal. It's a sport that I have no huge fondness for. But football, this is a great piece of news. Nepal have defeated India on penalties and they qualified for the finals of the SAFF Women's Championship 2024. So many congratulations to the women representing Nepal. So it's already a good Sunday for the beautiful nation of Nepal. Could be turning into a glorious Sunday Monday, because we are ticking towards the wee hours already in Kathmandu. We have said we will get to your questions. It's 10:15 back home, or sorry, back at my second home in Kathmandu and Pokhara, Biratnagar, Bhairawa, all the way down to the Terai region, Cedar Parsham and across the more than 31 million people that live in the most special of places. We're going to get to those questions now, plenty of them coming in. Our apologies. We got sidetracked by the brilliance of this Anil Sand Shake partnership. Edge are going to be 4. No slip in place, and well, it really sums up the way things are going for USA right now. Well bowled, Jesse Singh. Anil Sah and Shake, they don't need to attack. They're getting enough bad balls, probably trying to force a stroke that wasn't quite there, and he gets lucky to get a boundary.
Yeah, we've seen him try to run it very fine. This one's a genuine edge. He is trying to play to third man, but real genuine edge. And again, Mang Patel had no opportunity to get out there. And a lot of this is the aggressiveness and just the intent in the field. Richie Barrington 2 days ago, second slip, you reckon all the way till the 22nd over. No slip, and we're over number 14. When you won the toss, chose to bowl first for the swing, you miss out.
It's a listless performance right now, isn't it? It really is. Let's start with a question you've received as you get to the end of the 14th. It's 90 for none. This one comes from Sarah G on Twitter. He says it's a USA fan here. The question about Stuart Law. Is Sarah Netravalkar going to make a statement? We would directly like to hear the player's perspective. Well, Netravalkar is no longer the captain, so I'm not sure why it would be him making a statement. He was the captain before. Will we hear something collectively from the players, potentially?
You would hope so, but based on what Mang Patel said at the toss, right, it seems, based on what he's given us, that the players aren't really focused on that, they didn't really have a say as to why that happened. I think the reason he's asking for Netravalkar just because he has become almost like global face of American cricket thanks to his World Cup performances and what he did in Major League Cricket, but you would think at some point the players would have to make some sort of statement just with how vague we felt the press release was from the USA. Just think something more direct would come out.
Yeah, so our apologies, we don't know is the answer on that front. We probably will have a few we don't know questions, but we're happy to get those answers to you as we go. We are getting lots of questions from people as to where to watch in Nepal as well. That is on sticksports.com, STYX. I'm probably pointless me saying it as this is clipped away for what's going to be 4 more. Outfield's quick, runs continue to flow, and if Harmeet Singh is leaking them, well, I'm not sure where the economy is going to come from. USA are being blown away here, and it's 50 for Asif Sheikh off just 46 deliveries. He's got there with another elegant stroke. Yes, not a great delivery, but how well has he played? The Nepal fans are loving every second of this Aman. It's a 13th career 50 for Asif Sheikh.
He's been so good. He was red hot form in Canada. He's taking that down here. And as much as how bad the USA have been, he's been even more brilliant with the straight drives. Everything has been in control, and he deserves a 50.
Another misfield, and it's Jesse Singh. Well, this is starting to go from bad to worse. It really is, and now a throw to Kenjigay that nearly goes awry. They could have thought of a third there, but they're happy with just the 2. Is this going to turn around? Can this change? It looks like this is so reminiscent of 48 hours ago, the bowling and fielding performance we saw from the USA.
And Nepal haven't been pressured to do anything, right? We both speculated you win the toss, you probably get yourself back in the game. But Asif Sheikh has been allowed to play the way he wants to. Sah's been allowed to play the way he wants to. There's been very few opportunities where you say, oh, the USA are on top. Even just on an individual ball, maybe 2 balls early from Netravalkar. But besides that, it's been, Nepal are just in cruise control. They've been in first gear the entire time and haven't needed to get out of it. And unless the wicket falls in the next 5 or so overs, again, this could be a really long day for the USA.
I think you're spot on. And it's not just 300 plus that's on the cards here for Nepal. Let's call a spade a spade. It's a lot more than that if they keep going the way in which they're going. They've looked completely untroubled. Better from Harmeet Singh. Still 7 runs from the over. 15 have been bowled. It is 97 for none. messages continue to come in on social media. I'm getting in trouble, Nepal. From Sudeep, who's telling me you always mention Kathmandu and Pokhara and Lalitpur, which is one of the parts of the Twin Cities that I love so much. Bhaktapur as well, Bharatnagar and Bhairawa. Why do you never mention Niam? And I'm sorry, I will mention Niam. It's a district up in the Koshi province. And like so many parts of Nepal, beautiful hilly region, most famous for producing Nepali tea. Now Sri Lanka might be famous for tea, Bangladesh too, and India, but Nepali tea, some of the best in the world. So big shout out to Sudeep there in Iam. I hope I pronounced Iam correctly. Always try my best with my Nepali pronunciations. And Jitan Katwal getting in touch, celebrating that amazing victory for Nepal over India for the women's football team. To give you a comparison, like Ireland beating England, I think that for Nepal to beat India in anything, what a great story. And yeah, many congratulations to them. I know, great scenes of celebration. Who's America's rival? Is it Canada? Is it that simple?
In the cricketing sphere, really a lot of things, Canada is that team that you would compare yourself to. In football, soccer, as it's called down here, the England game always seems to have a different type of meaning for us. Mexico would also have. Mexico's always
because obviously they always qualified through what's it called, CONCACAF.
CONCACAF,
So they've got to get through that kind of Central and North American qualifier.
Yeah.
They missed out on one recently, did they?
They did miss out on
big surprise.
Big surprise because you have Christian Pulisic playing very good at the moment. He's playing in Europe at the moment, and it was probably the team a lot of people felt were better than the last edition of it, and they just weren't able to get over the line.
You rightly said as well, it's soccer here, not football, because there's only one thing that is football, not just in America,
and it's a Sunday,
particularly in Texas, and not just Sunday. It's an NFL Sunday, of course. But what about that college football Saturday yesterday?
Brilliant. For those who've never experienced college football in person, on TV it's one thing where you see the folks, but you'll get at minimum in a non-football school where I went, 30,000 people in the stadium.
There's over 100,000 at the Texas A&M game
and if you're here in Texas,
I couldn't believe it.
In high school football, my aunt, she has a son who attended the school, Katy High School.
And the first wicket falls. It's come from nowhere. And a roar of delight from Jesse Singh, maybe a roar of relief. I said that Sheikh and Saad didn't need to do anything in terms of playing aggressive strokes. Don't know if Jesse Singh is feeling the heat or maybe feeling some emotion. He's just got one to bounce a little bit more. And the hardcore USA fans, there's a few of them in. They're on their feet cheering. It's broken what was a 98-run partnership that looked completely unflustered and just given the USA some relief.
Well, they needed that. The USA haven't taken a wicket in 48 hours, and like you rightfully said, just kind of out of nowhere, slight angle back in, a little bit of extra bounce, probably a soft dismissal in the end, but you can see how much it means to Jesse Singh. They needed something to go their way, and it's finally gone in the American direction.
Well, as so often we see right on the cusp of a drinks break. It would have been drinks at the end of this over. Bhupati Dasanayak, the Nepal team mentor in the background there, gives Asif Sheikh a warm round of applause, but I think that Asif Sheikh will feel as though he's thrown away a century there, because it's a wicket that's come from nothing thanks to an aggressive stroke. It takes us to that drinks break. We'll take a break here too in the commentary box. With 15.4 overs bowled, they mainly belong to Nepal, but USA have a window into this game. It's 98 for 1. Welcome back. Apologies, just missed the one ball there. We were caught short by what was a very short drinks break. It was just worked for a single by the new man, Kushal Bertel. Tell you why we were also caught a bit short. I'll be honest, man, we were watching the penalty shootout, the highlights of it, weren't we? You can probably hear it in the background there. I'll have to mute that. But amazing history for the Nepal women's team. Great delight. Look at the goalkeeper. What a crowd there in the National Stadium.
Brilliant.
Right next to the World Trade Center there in Kathmandu, the National Stadium that had to be rebuilt after that earthquake in 2015. They're through to the final. As this one comes off the thigh pad, half an appeal, but no real interest from USA. It has been hosted in Nepal, the South Asian Football Federation's 2024 Women's Championship. There are, let me just get this right, 7 competing teams, and Bangladesh and India progressed from the Group A, and Nepal and Bhutan progressed from Group B, and then into the semi-finals that were both held today. In the early game, Bangladesh hammered Bhutan 7-1, but then it was a 1-1 draw that went down to penalties, and just amazing scenes. I'm showing you some of them here in the background. It looks like a capacity crowd there. What will be a Sunday night, Dhaka topis and the beautiful flag of Nepal flying everywhere. Amazing scenes, not just for Nepal, but for women's sport. That's really heartening to see.
Yeah, you love women's sport, and it feels men's sport only go as far as women's sport go alongside them. It's a huge platform that you can take, and you love to see the huge crowds all over the place. It's brilliant.
Only ever seen that in and around the TU International Cricket Ground.
Yeah, and to see women's sport get the kind of reception it does, even here in the States, it's starting to see it get picked up more and more. I remember at the Field Hockey National Championships in UNC Chapel Hill, it was hosted there. UNC was in it. Women's sport in the collegiate level, and packed out crowd. Everyone was just piling in, trying to find any space on the concourse, out on the pavilion. It was quite brilliant to see those scenes.
So a bit of breaking news from the cricket world. The ACC Men's Emerging Team Cup final today in Muscat in Oman. Afghanistan have beaten Sri Lanka to win that competition for the first time. The rise of the Afghan Atalan, well, it just seems unstoppable, doesn't it? Siddiqullah Atal, who's had an amazing tournament in the runs again with 55 not out, and you can imagine the scenes of jubilation back in Kabul there for their A team. What a series he has had. Listen to these numbers from Siddiqullah Atal, the left-handed opening batter. 83, 95 not out, 52, 83 in the semi-final against India A, and 55 not out in the final against Sri Lanka A. That's quite the run for the 23-year-old. I would imagine he'll force his way into that squad against Bangladesh on the back of that, as we get through a maiden over from Harmeet Singh, 99 for 1 the score. So yeah, lots of sport on a Sunday. We've got the NFL to come today. Be keeping half an eye on that out the side of our laptops here, but we'll also keep going with your questions. We'll get to those through this Jesse Singh over. Lots of messages about the women's football team. And Sudeep from EAM says, I can't believe this is hacked away into the leg side for, it's just going to be a single to bring the 100 up. I can't believe you actually responded. Thank you, Lenny. You are the best, and you did pronounce it right. But also, we've sparked an old epidemic online as the Nepal fans celebrate the 100. Aditya Giri says, why have you not said Bir Gunj? What about Butwal as well? Well, the Butwal boss, Kushal Bertel, is in. We can't name every place in Nepal. We'll do our best.
Yeah, cut Lenny some slack. He's doing everything he can, trying to spread around the love. But yeah, it's good to see the Nepali faithful in attendance today, as well as online, tuning in, and can't keep them away, can you? And they've been delighted to a treat so far. Lenny, this feels like the moment for the Americans to maybe find a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, possibly. There are times I get messages as well in Nepali, and And that's where it's really, because I've got about 20 or 30 words. I can kind of basically say hello and how are you, and I'm well and all is good. I don't kind of say thank you and you're welcome and a few bits and pieces, but when it comes in the Devanagari script, which is what the official language of Nepal is written in, and the old Nawari script, I can't understand it. Now Google Translate occasionally bails me out, but yeah, I'll try my best. As they're the shots I think Anil Sad needs to put out of the locker. You just don't need to play them, do you?
No, again, there's no need to give the Americans any momentum back into this game. Give Jesse Singh any reason to get back in the game, who seems to be back amongst the pace a little bit. Not quite Jesse Singh pace, but you can see him start to rile it up a bit. But yeah, the momentum's a fickle thing. You give a side momentum, it just seems to continue to flow like a river. And right now, everything's with Nepal. Just don't want to put a break in that and give the U.S. something to come back to life on. They're searching for wickets and needing them.
I'm going to retweet this. Sorry if you're not on Twitter or whatever it's called these days. I've been sent the most incredible photo here by Yobraj Sadai. He says, hi Cricket Badge, at Cricket Badge, hi Andrew. One of my dad's close friends, Samir Joshi, wanted me to share this with you. He's not on Twitter, but he's watching the coverage live from Nepal. Have a look at this, man. This photo was taken on the final day after the national games in the 1980s. We think this is in the Tudikil kind of, it's the main park right downtown in Kathmandu. This was before there was any international cricket in Nepal. As this goes miles into the air, it could be the second wicket. It's Van Schalkwyk that comes round and puts it down. And you can't really say you're surprised. If you're looking for a microcosm of everything that USA have been through over the last 48 hours, that's it. Maybe the only surprise that of all people to put down the catch, Shadley Van Schalkwyk.
Well, had a similar chance 2 days ago, wasn't it? Running to his right. He was a little bit deeper out, but chance to take a catch, puts it down, came straight off the hands. This one was in the air for a while, was spiraling just a little bit, but you can see it was never quite under. The hands were nowhere near the ball. Like you rightfully said, it's just a microcosm of what these past 48 hours have been for the USA.
But it's just totally unnecessary from Anil Shah. He doesn't need to do that. They're going along at over 5 and over, and he's just given them a chance from nothing. Wasn't full enough to hit down the ground. He doesn't need to go in the air over mid-on. Jesse Singh, again, doesn't look in full fluency. Better over from him. 5 runs from it. Should have been the second wicket. Van Schalkwyk comes over to apologise. We're just talking about that photo that's been sent to us. Get one more look at the drop. It did go a long way up. It wasn't easy, but this has to be taken.
No, and Shadley Van Schalkwyk would tell you he should have taken this 100%. Again, you can see his hands were never in the right place. It was well too far left. Didn't seem to be in the right position under the ball. And little basics haven't gone the way of the USA, but you rightfully said, no reason to play that shot if you're no set.
Nepal fans certainly loved it. They really did. And Nepal only became a associate member of the ICC in 1996, and that was the year that they first played any international of any kind. So that photo we've been sent maybe 10 or 12 years before that. Just the style though, I'm a big fan of some of the style on show there. The old cable knit sweaters, the whites, and of course the Dhaka topis in the middle as well. I'd imagine, we can't see the pitch they were playing on, but I'd imagine there was a fair bit of spin ball. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it wouldn't have surprised me to see a little bit of the wrist work come out on that server. It's not like the one we have here in Grand Prairie.
Tudikil is probably, if you think of Mumbai and you think of, is it called the Maidan or the Gymkhana, where the kind of the main public thoroughfare where you can get 15 or 20 plus games of cricket on at the same time. That's what Tudikil is, particularly on a Saturday and Sunday morning in Kathmandu. I've heard stories of people getting up, travelling through pitch black to make sure they're there at time to get the best pitch, because it's kind of, it's really just,
first come, first serve.
Yeah, it's not exactly like you're reserving the pitch and paying for it. You're coming in and kind of saying, no, our game is here. Certainly, I think volleyball is technically the national sport for Nepal, but cricket is absolutely taken over in every capacity, with the storied rise of the team over the last decade plus. They've been such a good story, haven't they, for the associate game. Harmeet Singh just causing a bit of threat here. Bertel taking a little while to get going. 19 bowled, USA. Credit to them, starting to fight back. 105 for 1.
Yeah, credit indeed. They are fighting back, and it's good to see that from the American point of view, and American fans outnumbered by the Nepalis. Not uncommon in this part, in Dallas especially, when you have a big cry of Nepal population around, and for the first time after that wicket you could start to hear a little bit of the Dirty Dozens make some noise. But again, you mentioned how good Nepal is for the associate game. What hasn't been good for the USA today has been what they've done with the ball. Harmeet Singh is starting to find some rhythm. The economy's come back down, and Jesse Singh with the wicket, but the wickets come out of nowhere. There's no one that feels threatening, really.
Yeah, only 4 bowlers used thus far. And just speaking of those American fans, just had a really good question come in online from Zoe, who's watching on from Las Vegas, of all places.
Beautiful.
I think the Raiders have a bye week this week, or they're certainly not at home today. 50 for Anil Shah. It's come off 51 balls as the crowd rises to him. He's played nicely. He has had that life, a bit of fortune. Probably not quite as in control as Asif Sheikh was. 5 fours, 51 balls. Well played.
Yeah, third one-day international 50 for Anil Shah, and again, you mentioned probably not as in control as he would have wanted to, but he's put the impetus on the USA. He's taken advantage of anything with the width. He's played brilliantly through the covers, and he's put on a great platform for Nepal.
Question from Zoe is, she's got into cricket since watching the T20 World Cup. She says, I know that in T20 a bowler can bowl 4 overs, but is there a maximum for the number of overs that a bowler can bowl in one-day international cricket? There is. It's actually, it's proportionately the exact same as a T20. So in T20 cricket you can only bowl 4, you're correct, which is, you have to therefore use at least 5 bowlers. 5 bowlers of 4 each. You can use more than that, but you have to use a minimum. In ODI cricket it's the exact same. You have to use 5 bowlers. Therefore the maximum that any one bowler can bowl is 10 overs. There were days, actually back at the start of ODI cricket, it was 60 overs, sometimes 55, where you could bowl 11 or 12. But they always kind of compel you to bowl 5, which it's for a couple of reasons really. It's to add balance to the teams, and it's to ensure that it's not just the same bowlers bowling over and over again. But great to hear from you, Zoe, in the bright lights of Las Vegas. I've got to retweet this one as well, because Ashish Tahal says, speaking of Halloween, we heard you talking about Halloween. I dressed up as Rowan Powdle for the Halloween block party yesterday in Athens, Ohio.
Beautiful. How about that? Rohit Botto walking around the streets of Athens, Ohio. That wasn't on my 2024 bingo card.
He's wishing the Nepal team all the best. I just love the fact there's an Athens in Ohio. I know there's a Dublin in Ohio, and some people know this, none of you know this. I'm only half Irish. Did you know that?
I actually did not know that. Only half Irish.
Okay, well, I've probably given it away, but you can guess where my other half is from. It's not Nepal. You might think it's Nepal. It pretty much is now. If you cut me in half, I bleed half Nepali. Great to see plenty of fans and colour and style in the crowd today. But yeah, so maybe Ohio is the place I've got to be. And then, now that there's some Nepal fans there too.
You talked to me how you love football. That's where American football was born, Canton, Ohio. So it just seems like the perfect place for
right?
enter there. Yeah, that's where the Hall of Fame is over there, and that's why Cleveland Browns fans.
Why was it born there then? Is it just the first place it was played?
Yeah, it was the first place that they had, I think, organized American football happening. And
Wow.
so the Hall of Fame is there, and
I would have thought, sorry to cut you, I would have thought Pennsylvania or,
Sure.
you know, somewhere of the real history and heritage of the country. I think baseball started out somewhere there.
yes, I believe the baseball started out somewhere in the Northeast.
The kind of east
Yeah.
East Coast. Wow, Ohio.
See, you got to get over there, Lenny. I had family in Ohio for the longest period of time. Have some family who've just moved over there, so I've been there on multiple occasions. But yeah, Canton, Ohio.
10 football teams gathered there. 1920. Here we go. I genuinely did not know that. It's known as the birthplace of football. And the NFL was hilariously organised in a Canton automobile showroom.
Yeah.
1920. And one of the early powers of pro football was the Canton Bulldogs. They were an NFL charter member, and they became the new league's first two-time champions with undefeated seasons at 22 and 23. End of the 20th over here, 109 for 1. As Mach is going to come into the attack for the first time. Yeah, if there's any Greek cricket fans watching, I think that might be a big ask. Please do get in touch.
We're just learning all about Andrew Leonard, and he's learned a lot about the States now as well. And we'll just learn a lot about Mach today and what he's going to be going through, what he has to offer, because didn't have the greatest of days 48 hours ago, but has to be able to find himself a wicket in today's play. Rusha Bartelli's just starting to get himself going. Only a matter of time you expect before we see maybe a Sanjay Krishnamurti, maybe a Milind Kumar come into the attack just to give another option to Monang Patel.
Don't need to take risk in these middle overs. You definitely want to keep putting pressure on USA by putting the bad balls away and picking up the ones and twos. There is a lot of power to come, you think about. Captain in form, particularly Gulshan Jha and Dipender Singh Ari at 5 and 6. If they could have a platform of 10, 15 overs to bat that these two and Paolo could give them, then Nepal will definitely be thinking of 300 plus.
Yeah, plenty of power in that Nepal side. We've talked about Gulshan Jha, Dipender Singh Ari, Rohit Paolo. So plenty of those guys who can come in and really accelerate when you need to. But if you can get to that 30 over mark with just the 1 wicket down, maybe two, in a real position to put on some runs. And there's a lot of pressure now going to be put on the USA top order that just had a really poor showing with the bat, and a lot of them coming off some poor form. You see a youngster collect that one at short third. That's Yasser Mohammed, and you almost feel like he's soon to be into the team at some point. Just give you another bowling option. He's a leggy who hasn't been a part of the T20s nor the ODIs as of yet, Lenny.
I think he's on for Jesse Singh, if I'm seeing it right. Don't see Singh in the outfield at the moment. He's on as a subfielder. Plenty of questions and comments coming in about the upcoming Nepal Premier League too. There's a huge amount of excitement for that. That's going to be the inaugural edition of... There has been plenty of franchise cricket historically in Nepal going back many years, but this is the first kind of board owned, organised and arranged franchise league. And again, that goes back to the, I suppose, the stability that Paris Katka has brought to the board, or sorry, to the organisation. He's the secretary, and then he'll answer into the board and work with the board on all the things that they're doing. But 8 teams, which is a big statement. The Ratnagar Kings, the Chitwan Rhinos, the Janakpur Bolts, the Karnali Yaks, the Kathmandu Gurkhas, the Lumbini Lions, the Bukhara Avengers, and then the Dipender Singh Ari marquee-led Sudar Bashim Royals. And that's obviously Sudar Bashim is a province where there's a huge amount of cricket, but it's a lovely thing the way they've designed it. They've actually kind of spread the teams across the breadth of the country, right the way from the far west, from Sudar Bashim, out to the far east to Ratnagar. And some of the overseas players just getting signed. The local players are all signed through a draft, and you can imagine some of the big... There was kind of a marquee player assigned to each of the 8. That was Lamachani, Kushal Malla, Asif Sheikh, Sampal Kami, Karen KC, Rohit Patel, national team captain Kushal Bartel, and of course Dipender Singh Ari. But then, because the draft was held just after the Canada Tour, the demand for the likes of Gulshan Jha and Anil Sat and Ladar Rajbanshi in particular was very strong. And they were some of the highest bid for players. As this is edged and dropped. It's a second catch that's gone down. And it's Manak Patel, the captain, not easy, but another one that you would imagine that should have been held.
Well, you bring in Sarbnath Devolker for this exact reason. He's looking to take a wicket, Manak Patel. He's brought in this main strike bowler, and you can see the disappointment on his face. That's an opportunity that you would expect to take. Yes, tough, yes, diving out to your right, but you're expecting that Devolker to push it away, carrying on with the angle. It's caught from outside edge as Patel looked to drive it through covers. And yet, hit square in the palm. Really closer to the wrist and went straight down. Manak Patel will be upset with himself after that one.
Yeah, he comes up to the stumps. He certainly won't be catching a ball that's edged that wide up to the stumps. So it was Anil Shah that had the life. I think he was dropped in 45, was it, off Jesse Singh? And now Kushal Patel gets one. It's not an easy chance, but you'd back your keeper to take this, wouldn't he? Did he react a little bit late, if anything?
Yeah, he's in a position understanding that the ball is going to be pushed away, and I think that's the biggest thing. You're not anticipating coming over the wicket, as Sarbnath Devolker, with a ball that's 22 overs old, to swing it back in, so you're anticipating it to leave you. You have to be in the position. Just felt that he was probably maybe a step in, and yeah, probably did react just a touch later than we're accustomed to seeing from Manak Patel. Usually so sharp, whether that is in cover. We've seen him with some exceptional stops in that T20 series, and with the gloves in hand, he's also quite brilliant.